This morning we spoke a little bit about the diverse experiences, whether good or bad, resulting from the karma that we all create. Karma simply being actions that are generated intentionally and most oftentimes propelled into creating those actions. How they are created then based upon, as a meditator on the Buddhist path of contemplation and examination, understanding the habitual tendencies that allow the spinning of the wheel of the 12 nidanas, and through which generation of continuous, ceaseless actions that then become the seed of the experiences that we all either experience individually or affect those experiences that affect the lives of the others. And so if we take just one example and work with that, as a human being, the mind is intelligent, mind is awake, mind is capable of discerning and understanding, of being aware. Endowed not only with such a mind, but also the gateways through which this mind functions. And so eyes that can see form, ears that can hear sound, the nose that can smell, then mouth that can taste and speak and utter sound, body that feels the texture, and then the consciousness, the mind consciousness that is alert, that is again very close to the intrinsic nature of one's own wisdom mind. And so endowed with senses, sense faculties, and ability to see, hear, and taste, etc., and then the mind, we are surrounded by movements. So whenever the innate nature strikes or begins to sort of meet with form, meet with sound, meet with taste, meet with texture, meet with different kinds of feelings, sensations, immediately there is the tendency to shift away from one's own basic nature. And so basic nature, of all the different ways to refer to it, one can also say very core nature of awareness, intrinsic. While remaining within that core nature of our own awareness, let's say a certain form arises. And so you look up and you see blue color. And immediately what happens is one could observe, see the blueness, and yet be able to remain completely still or completely in harmony with whatever form one sees, but often one doesn't do that. You are propelled into making some sense out of whatever form that you see. So one says blue. In that moment where you see blue and you say blue, you have actually crossed over 4 or 5 different stages of the nidanas. Name and form is immediately there. When that recognition, when the consciousness recognizes the blue, it immediately then sort of boxes it into the categories of whether it likes or dislikes, 3 stages which are usually talked about, or neutral. You either like something, you either dislike something, or you have a much more neutral attitude towards it. Neutral attitude is worse than liking it or disliking it. It's just dullness of the mind. It's basically called ignorance. You're so tired that you don't even have an opinion about it. And so neither liking it or not disliking it, it's a certain dullness of the mind that does not allow the mind to be free, however, from the preoccupation of the form or the smell or the sound or the taste or the feeling or the sensation. Therefore, if you like something, we articulate. We immediately allow ourselves to articulate a certain sense of, I like blue color, and therefore, well, bless that person who has done the blue, who colored it blue. If you dislike it, then immediately there is aggression. How come they always get their way and make it blue and not orange, for example? And so there's a way of, again, articulating that. And so otherwise, dullness is I don't care whether it is blue or orange. It just is there. And so the way of reacting, that reaction is called karma. Some of that karma can be very passive, very simple karma, which does not bring dramatic changes or influences or experiences either to the individual or to the others. Those are karma with less gravity. But oftentimes, what happens is our likes, dislikes, and the ignorance, the dullness of the mind, propels us into bringing exaggerated actions or bigger actions, actions that are effective. And so anger, for example, may arise out of dislike. Aggression, irritation, anxiousness, fear, jealousy, hatred, all of these stronger emotions, where do they arise from is because core of your mind dislikes something, that it is the self dislikes whatever is happening. Likewise, desire, stinginess, grasping, hope, aspiration, clinging, all of these craving, these different strong emotions arises because ultimately there is an innate self that craves for more, that likes it tremendously. And so out of that sort of very strong emotion of liking or disliking, anger arises, such as desire arises, hatred, jealousy, arrogance, all of this arises. That then comes out in the form of actions. We say something, we do something. Those are karma. That is action. Simple action that shapes our life, the life that is in relation is activity or is in action and momentum constantly shapes my attitude. This is the attitude of this person that is let loose in the society. It relates to the other people. Likewise, there are hundreds, thousands, millions of human beings, all with their own attitude and personality, relating to one another. And this is how we create this world. This is how we create the environment we live in. Aggression and different kinds of painfulnesses. For example, earlier we spoke about today being the anniversary of the bombings in Hiroshima, for example. That's also our doing. Likewise, today and any unfortunate circumstances of war or whatever is happening today, it's also creation of our own karma. We've all indulged in it. We've all given and participated in it. Likewise, good things that are happening. Despite the fact that there is enormous negativity, still world civilization, our society is by and large healthy. We get along. There is still some sense of social, let's say, ethics. There are people who are trying and working very hard in making the world a better place. And likewise, all of these have an effect on everyone else. We have happinesses and causes of happinesses because of people who create the karma of happiness. Likewise, we have suffering and adverse and difficult circumstances, also a result of many people who create those negativities. And so as a Buddhist meditator, being able to understand the enormous power of karma that you have, and therefore if one is to truly generate the wish and the aspiration that everyone be happy, recognizing that you do have the power. If you create the karma, generate the karma of goodness, of happiness, of compassion and kindness, intrinsically yourself as well as everyone you relate to and are connected to can enjoy the karma fruitioning in the form of happiness and causes of happiness. Therefore, that then enables the Buddhist meditator to develop a sense of, may this life be dedicated in transformation and in transcendence of the innate self, that it truly is able to bring fruition to the aspiration of happiness. That through the actions that I create, if it can bring tremendous harm and suffering, it also then has the power of bringing tremendous happiness and causes of happiness in oneself and in the others. Therefore, may I always walk the path of compassion. May I always generate genuine sense of kindness towards all sentient beings. That is then the point where we stopped this morning.